right, guys. What's up? What's up? What's up? Uh, Welcome back to. Hold on. Still figuring this thing out. Still figuring it out. What is all my slides? Welcome back to the Pod on the Go show. I am your host, Raz, and today we're going to be continuing the show, the episode, the theme of the week, which is new beginnings. And today we're going to talk about, the segment today is podcasting 201. This is a little bit higher level, something most beginners won't be even interested in just yet until you get to a certain amount of episodes or until you get to a certain amount of podcast growth. But today we're going to be talking about building a team. And that is probably one of the most important aspects of a podcast being successful, is having a team around you. You know, things such as marketing, editing, pre-production, post-production, getting guests, everything that has to do with creating a amazing podcast. You're going to need a team around you, because to get started, you can do everything by yourself, like what I'm doing now. You can do everything by yourself, but at a certain point, you're going to need help. And a big part of that is marketing and advertising and getting people to see your product, your production. If people don't see it, then why are you doing it? You know, you want people to be able to see the show so that you can hopefully help them or entertain them or get them to come back to your business. And if you're not posting on social media, if you're not going to where your ideal target market is, then you're not adding a quality product out there. You know, you have to have confidence in what you're doing, and you have to have confidence in the product that you're putting out there. Otherwise, you're just adding to the noise. So that's why marketing is so important. And that's why, it's so important for better, more experienced podcasters. Okay. In the beginning, you won't need all this stuff. But so what are your options when it comes to building a podcasting team? Number one is yourself. Most podcasters are going to start out like this. You're doing everything yourself. You're posting on social. You're asking friends to watch the show. You're going to podcasting events or different business events, and you're sharing your show with friends. You're starting Facebook groups. You're posting on every social media you can think of. You're telling your family members that you got a podcast, all this stuff. That's you. That's all you. And you still have to do that as your podcast grows. Even though it's podcast 201 and you probably have 100 or 1,000 episodes out, you still have to tell people about your podcast. It could be a co-host or a partner or a engineer, somebody who's been there from the beginning. They could do all the marketing for you. Maybe you do all the production, they do all the marketing. Maybe you do pre-production. You guys share production, and then post-production your partner handles. So maybe you can find a partner. A marketing company. There's thousands, definitely dozens around you. Wherever you are, you can find a marketing company who will help you to advertise and get your podcast in front of the right people. But there's pros and cons to that as well. Same thing with the virtual assistant. You can find a VA pretty easily online. You have tons of resources out there to help you find a VA online. So that's an option. And automation. You have, AI or automated programs or things that will post as soon as you upload an episode or share a video on YouTube. There are apps and websites and AI and all this, cool things that will post to social media for you. You don't even have to think about it. There's all types of services like that. So that's an option. So what do? You got all these options. You don't know where to start. You want to start helping people as soon as possible. You want to start building your following a little bit more. You're putting out all this hard work into your podcast, into putting out good content. So what do? Some things to consider. Number one is your budget. How much can you afford? This is, probably the number one thing. It's going to help you guide the rest of the decisions on what you want to do. But if you can scrounge up $50 or $100 a month, and you can get some decent programs, some decent AI. If you're gonna scrounge up 100, 200, or $300 a month, then you can actually find somebody to actually maybe help you batch, you know, things for you, post social media posts for you ahead of time. What platforms do you want to focus on? Every podcast is not going to be successful on every social media platform. My podcast, I focus a lot on LinkedIn. I focus a lot on Instagram, a little bit of Facebook, but those are my two biggest. Those are my two biggest avenues, because those are the people who are attracted to the services I offer, and who I can help the most, I believe. I've also never been a social media person, so I'm not good at it. So I have to hire somebody myself. But those are the platforms. So when I'm looking to hire someone, those are the platforms I want to know that they're experienced using. How often do you want to post? Do you want to post every day, multiple times a day? Do you want to be Gary V and post on a daily, hourly basis? Or do you want to post once a day or 3 times a week? It doesn't, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. It's just whatever works for you that you can do consistently. Do you want to create or curate? Creating is what I'm doing now, creating my own content. I'm recording my own product, and every day I'm going to do this. Or I can curate. I can find other people's posts and other people's shares and blog posts or videos, and I can share those and comment on those on my social media. So that's an option. A big part of social media is engagement, right? So do you need help with engaging with people, or do you need help with just finding articles to post, or do you need help with creating, not clickbait, but engaging images to post on your website that links back to your website? So it's just that post on your social media that you can link back to your website. So, because engagement is so big on social media, anybody can post and anybody can buy likes, anybody can buy subscribers and followers, but are you engaging with them in a way that makes them want to come back, that they comment on every post, that they come back and talk to other people? That's pretty important. Another thing to ask, what can you still do yourself? Me personally, I still like to engage. If you see any comments on my social media posts, it's coming from me. If you see any comments or responses to anything, it's coming directly from me. I just personally don't like being on the website, being on social media, or being on things. I like being in person with people. I like to connect in person and have coffee or have lunch or go to, organizations, go to different events. So that's what I enjoy doing. So I enjoy the engaging part. That's what I can do myself. But posting on a regular basis, it's just hard for me. I have so much to do, and it's just not top of mind, even though I know it's important. Something else to think. Sometimes cheap help could come from just a friend, a relative, a niece or a nephew, a cousin, somebody who enjoys social media, and you can pay them a small amount to either get them started. Maybe you can introduce them to other business owners, and they can charge them, a better rate, and you can actually help somebody start a business by helping them to help you, if that makes sense. One big thing to keep in mind, whichever avenue you choose for your social media help and your marketing team, is having specific goals. Things like, in the next 6 months, I want this many followers. In the next year, over the next year, I want to make sure that my engagement increases by 20%. Next month, I want to add, 35 likes to every one of my posts. That type of, next month I want to make sure that I am engaging with people and asking questions and answering questions from my viewers on a regular basis. So it's, just make sure that there are goals there, and that'll also help you to discover which type of team member you want to add, And another thing that I don't like is bartering. There's the option, so I do live streaming, videography, and podcasting and all that stuff. If I wanted to, I could probably find a marketing company that would allow me to, barter. I could produce some stuff for them, and they would be my client, and I would be their client. But we wouldn't, change money. We'll just help each other out. The problem with bartering, at least in my experience, it might work for some of you, but at least in my experience, I never get as much back as I give, if that makes sense. I always feel like I'm giving more than I'm receiving in return. And if you're not paying them money, it's hard for me to ask somebody to do what they said they're going to do if you're not paying them money, you know? So I'd rather just pay somebody, and if things don't work out, then I can let them go or fire them or end a relationship or whatever. But I don't like to barter for services. So that's just, just some advice. If you're going to barter for service, then you might as well go out and find a new client that will pay you full price for your services, and then take the profit from that and find a marketing professional to help you with your marketing. I think that's the better way. I would rather go find a new client that's going to pay me full price than to try and barter with somebody and trade time, because time is actually more valuable than whatever money or whatever value there is in my services. The time is more valuable. So here are some resources. There's a ton of resources. This is a very small list. This is just stuff that I've used in the past. If you are going to go the automated route and add an automated team member for your as your marketing tool to build your podcast, and check out Zapier, or IFTTT. IFTTT stands for if this then that. So both of these are just basically triggers. If you post to WordPress, or if you post to your blog, or if you post to YouTube, then you can set up a trigger in either one of those resources to automatically post to the social media channels of your choice, automatically with the whatever text you wanted to include. So those are things you can check out. Very, very simple to learn once you go to the website. But those are just automated ways to post. IFTTT is free. Zapier is free to an extent, and then if you want more resources and features, then Zapier also charges. If you want to go the VA route, check out Fiverr, check out Upwork. Both are just easy ways to post and get help from virtual assistants around the world. So I use Upwork. I use Upwork to find my marketing assistant currently. Hopefully she works out. This is our first month, but I think it's going to be great. We'll see next month. If it doesn't work out, then I have to go back to her and see what works, see what doesn't work, and maybe we can make it work. So I'm excited about it. So, and Upwork is cool. I've used it several times for different people, and it's always been great. Fiverr is cool too. I had my first several podcast logos created on Fiverr. They worked at the time, but at the same time you also get what you pay for with Fiverr and with Upwork. So, it's gonna. But I think it's worth it to check out if that's the route you want to go. If you want to spend, anywhere from $200 to $300 a month, or $400 a month, or maybe even less. Maybe you can get away with $100 a month, depending on the VA. But it's whatever you can negotiate. If you want to still do things yourself, or do things or you want your co-host to handle the social media, some ways to save a lot of time are with the resources like MeetEdgar, Hootsuite, Buffer. There's a lot of these out there. Basically just social media calendars and schedule devices. So it allows you to, at the start of the month, or like once a month, once a week, to go through and schedule posts to happen on a regular basis. So this way you don't have to be on social media every day. You can just batch your posts at a certain time of the month. And this great way to save time. It works for hundreds of thousands of people use it, if not millions, every week. Large companies use, I know, Hootsuite and Buffer, and MeetEdgar is a really cool one because they'll also repurpose the posts. So if you can say that I want it to, say you have a very popular blog post on your website, and you want to make sure that it's always, a recurring. You want to make sure that people see it continuously. You don't want to post it once and then 6 months from now people don't see it. So what MeetEdgar can do is allow you to upload once and make sure that this popular post is seen every month. Or you can, schedule it so that you make sure that people are seeing it every 3 months and new people are seeing it. And it's not just getting lost in the feed. If you want to go the route of finding a marketing company, there's a couple things you can do. You can try LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, groups like that. That's really the best way to go, I think, if you're looking for a marketing company. That and advice from your, a local mentor or a local friend. The same thing with, finding a local chamber or asking relatives, or even joining a marketing meetup, or a just any kind of local meetup, you'll find a marketing professional. So, and in Savannah, where I just moved from, I started a podcasting meetup, so that was a cool way to find other marketers who were just looking to learn. Also was a part of the Savannah Social Media Breakfast, which is a really cool one because each week we learn something new about social media. The founder of it was nice, Sandy Menzel. She was really cool lady. So if you're in the Savannah area, it's worth checking that out as well. And final thoughts. You need help. You've been podcasting for a long time now. If you're watching this, I'm assuming that you've been podcasting for a while. I'm assuming that you're getting to the point where you're getting overwhelmed with all the work and the production and the pre-production and the scheduling the interviews and, finding topics to talk about, finding cool people to interview. You're getting overwhelmed with the editing and the posting. When I first started, it's a little bit faster now because I have help. But when I first started editing and producing podcasts for other people, even a 20-minute episode would take like 3 or 4 hours for me to do everything, right? So if that's where you are, but you're also gaining some traction with your podcast and people are enjoying it and people are telling you how much you love it and you enjoy doing it and you want to keep going, you want it to keep growing, then you need to invest in yourself. And that's where the first thing I would take off my personal plate would either be editing and the production of it, or I would take off the marketing side. Those are the two hardest parts that are the easiest to get help for. And most likely somebody else can do it better than you can, unless that's your thing. So that's my advice, is to get help. And marketing is a great place to start because somebody's better than you at marketing. And if you're going to invest in your podcast, you don't even have to buy, a very expensive mic. You don't have to have, 5 cameras and amazing lighting to produce something that's really amazing. You just have to make sure it's getting in front of the right people at the right time and making sure that they're staying engaged with your content and making sure that they're providing feedback and you're talking to them and they're talking to you. So that is my advice. That's my final thoughts. You need help. If you want to grow your podcast, you're going to need help. You're going to have to build a team, and creating a marketing team or finding marketing resources is the easiest way to go, in my opinion. So all that said, thank you guys for watching. I'm Raz, owner of Pod on the Go. I would love to hear your comments or your feedback on the episode, things that you want me to talk about, things that I have missed today, that maybe I can add to the next time I talk about marketing. I would love your help. If you are a marketer and you want to come on the show and talk about podcast marketing specifically, I would love to have you on as an interview guest. So guys, go check out podonthego.com. If you want to start a podcast, you can find a podcast studio near you. And that's it. You can reach out to me, info@podonthego.com, and I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.